again, everyone, and welcome to another NorthShoreSun.com podcast. I'm editor Grant Parpan. With me, as always, are reporters Jennifer Gustafson and Samantha Bricks. And Sam, we're going to start with you first. You were at the Shore and Wading River Board of Ed meeting last night, where they threw out a possibility, the superintendent did, of the possibility of having to cut kindergarten if they went into contingency budget.
Yeah, if the budget went to the contingency level, a possibility would be to eliminate all kindergarten classes and services, except, of course, for services to students with special education needs. And that would save the district $850,000 if kindergarten was no more. But
what would these kids have to do?
I guess parents would have to send their kids to private kindergartens or to kindergarten through church groups or other groups. I guess there are a variety of options, and some parents said, a lot of parents might not be able to afford an independent private kindergarten, so that's an issue.
It's crazy. I mean, it's a lot to ask of parents. If they, to be honest with you, my personal opinion would be that they would never do this. Mm. It seems like every year with school districts, when they're afraid that the budget's going to fail, and I'd imagine there's a concern for that every year in Shore and Wading River, where it seems to be voted down on the first time more often than not. It seems like they throw these kind of weird scenarios. Last year, Jen, you were covering the schools. What was the thing last year? I'm sure they threw something out there in Shoreham last year, right?
Yes. What they said was if the school went on contingency, all sports programs would be cut. And I remember vividly board member Leo Greenlee saying, if we go to contingency, it's gone. It's all gone. I remember that vividly. So.
Yeah, it's always something. It's sports or it's kindergarten. It's like these extreme things that probably aren't going to happen. And it seems like, to me, it's just kind of like a way to inspire people to vote yes for the budget. Did you get a sense that from the board that there was any desire to cut kindergarten?
All the board members were saying, I wouldn't want to cut kindergarten. That's not my intention. Flies in the face of reason, ridiculous. So all board members were on board with parents in opposition to cutting kindergarten.
It is ridiculous. I mean, how about cutting some other things before that? I mean, even sports. Like, I would cut sports. Why not just throw out cutting sports again this year? I would cut sports before you're going to cut kindergarten. That makes absolutely no sense. It's a crazy thing. I mean, and I'm not to say that they were saying they're going to cut kindergarten, to be clear. I mean, it was thrown out there. It seemed like such an outrageous thing, and it was an interesting read. It's not something I would have ever thought would even be possible. Yeah. Jen, to switch gears away from schools and to talk a little bit about the town, you were at the town board meeting last night, and there was a bill that they discussed in a public hearing that would fine business owners if graffiti is not removed from their buildings within 48 hours. What happened with that hearing?
Well, earlier in the year, the town board created an anti-graffiti committee, which all of the board members are a part of, and the bill, sponsored by Councilwoman Connie Keppert, if it is approved, business owners would have 48 hours to remove graffiti, or else they will face a fine of $300. Now, the current deadline for business owners is 14 days. Councilwoman Connie Keppert said that the only way to deter and prevent graffiti is to remove it quickly. So that's why she's proposing the 48-hour deadline.
Yeah, I'm not convinced, if I could opine a little here, I'm not that convinced that fining business owners for graffiti that sits on their buildings for a couple of days is really going to stop kids from writing graffiti. I mean, there's kids out there that are going to write graffiti, and they're going to find a way to do it. Another question I have with this is, what happens to vacant buildings? Do they find the property owner?
Yes.
If they find the property owner? Good luck enforcing that. And these are existing, they have an existing deadline, right?
Yes, 14 days, but Ms. Keppert said that the 48-hour will help prevent graffiti artists, or vandals, actually, I should say, from going back to the places where they're, if it's cleaned up quickly, it'll prevent them from going back to that same spot. That was her argument. Councilwoman Jane Bonner said that it's unfair to impose this on the victims, who are the business owners, and suggested a 5-day deadline.
Yeah, to me that's a little bit more reasonable. You think they're going to probably come back with a new deadline that's
Yeah.
Similar to what Ms. Bonner's proposing.
The town board, at the suggestion of Supervisor Mark Lesko, will discuss the deadline on their next town board work session meeting, and they left the public hearing open, so they will reopen that public hearing on April 5th.
Well, there you have it. Business owners being fined for having graffiti on their buildings, and maybe even no kindergarten at Shore on Wading River. It was a crazy night last night, ladies. For Samantha Bricks and Jennifer Gustafson, I'm Grant Parkman. Thanks for listening on NoTrustZone.com.